Yeah, so I can say something private.
Yeah, you want to say something private right now? Welcome everyone to the first episode of whatever this podcast YouTube channel will be called. Probably something like Flight Podcast. Maybe we'll talk it over with our guest here, Glenn Morris.
Yeah, I can start talking now.
Yeah.
By the way, that is totally the color of the water next to us.
Is it?
I mean, like, well, compared to other water in the world, that is Boston water. I have been very into the idea of online co-op games. As someone who does not play online co-op games usually, but
Right.
state of the pandemic, I'm in my apartment in America. Which, if you're listening from outside of America, don't come here.
Yeah,
It's
do
really
not.
bad right now. I was in my apartment for a long time, and I thought, like, how am I gonna, like, keep my social connections active, right? So I started looking into co-op games,
Right.
and it was a whole new world opening up to me.
Right.
This whole, like, how many games are out there, what the common hang-ups are that people have with online co-op,
Right.
all the different genres and clever ideas that get repeated because they become influential as far as, like, co-op mechanics are concerned and things like that.
Right.
And one of the most popular games is not really played much as a co-op game, granted, but one of the most popular games that features co-op, at least, is Euro Truck Simulator. Which I would think is like a high barrier of entry kind of game. Like, these simulation games, they have their hardcore players, but they're not going to compare to, like, the number of people who play God of War or Dark Souls or what have you.
Right.
Turns out, like, one of the most bought and played games. There's millions of people driving trucks.
Right.
And yeah, it has. You're a Euro Truck Simulator player or another truck simulator?
I'm both, dude. I played Microsoft. Okay, now this is working. I played What am I talking about? American Truck Simulator and Euro Truck Simulator, and I played them religiously, and I still do. And I played them in VR, which, by the way, in VR, it's just amazing. Yeah. Man.
Yeah.
So, okay.
That's something co-op games don't usually have. There aren't a lot of VR experiences out there that you can play co-op.
So,
which makes sense because not many people own VR equipment.
So just to be clear, the co-op topic that we're going to talk about right now, which I know the Truck Simulator bled into, which is a part of, I assume, you're saying that Truck Simulator has co-op.
It has a type of co-op, like, people who want co-op games probably aren't going to want to look at Euro Truck Simulator as their game to play co-op if they're not into that kind of game. But basically what people do is they drive trucks next to each other along the same routes and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like, it actually kind of fits perfectly thematically when you think about it, because people on ham radios communicating on those long drives.
Right.
The sound effects are fantastic, so you are totally immersed. I mean, but I didn't know any of this. That like a car horn doesn't sound like a video game car horn. It sounds like an actual car horn coming through your headphones.
Right.
And so the immersion of that, and being able to spend time with somebody when you cannot physically spend time with a lot of people right now because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
It seems like such a chill experience.
It is pretty chill. I'd be interested to see how that works out, because I've never done co-op in it, and I know that there was a module to do it, and it always sounded like it was kind of like a third-party module. I didn't know they actually.
It is a mod.
It is a mod. You're talking about the mod then, okay?
I am talking about the mod, but there's a difference between, like, a mod and you can kind of do it with a mod. Some games, they have a mod. Everyone uses the mod. The mod works great. Euro Truck Simulator, like I said, it's like a 2015 game, right? So it's a reliable mod. Right. Other co-op games that some people play, they play with a mod that is a hassle to set up, and it doesn't work reliably. The only thing I've heard about Euro Truck Simulator is like some people who try it out are confused about how they actually start the same route as a friend. But if you go out on YouTube and type Euro Truck Simulator co-op, people are obviously like able to start from the same position and go on their trip.
Huh, that's great. Well, I
think you may even be able to like share some kind of economy, right? Because the game, like you're getting paid for like making.
There's a big
route, right?
Yeah, I mean half the game is economy and building your truck empire and all that stuff. So let's back up a second because I'm pretty sure.
Okay, before you before you back up, I wanna say that
I was trying to back out of truck simulator conversation because I'm interested in it, but
I gotta let the people know in case they're interested in doing this thing that they're hearing about.
Yeah.
As of, I don't know, this is relatively new, November last year or something or whatever, Steam has Remote Play Together. And I don't use this, I've never used this, but it's basically if you have Steam, it's free. And it's like Google Stadia.
Really?
So only one person needs to own the game Euro Truck Simulator, and they can stream it to another player for free to have them join their truck simulator experience.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
It's $20, $5 when it's on sale. You get it on sale, you bring in a friend, you basically pay $2.50 a piece to drive trucks.
That is pretty cool. Okay. Sorry, I got distracted because I'm pretty sure I have to, for some reason, manually fly the plane. Okay, now it's good. I don't know. This game has a lot of bugs. So this is linked to the co-op conversation. So why don't you kick us off on what are you when we said co-op? You said co-op to me. Why don't you introduce the viewers to what you're talking about? Because everyone understands what co-op games is for the most part.
Well, there's what it is and what it isn't when people refer to that term. I've been sort of like in research for 3 weeks now, looking into this because my work has been related to the game industry in the past, and I am now interested in this corner of it that I didn't know much about. And so like I know you play like real-time strategy games, right?
Right.
You can play on a skirmish map with another human player, and you're playing against other human players. Even if you have like co-op to work together with that person, or you're on like a team in a first-person shooter, or you're playing duo or trio in some game, like if you're playing against other human players, as far as the co-op community is concerned, that is not co-op. It needs to be artificial intelligence that you're playing against.
Yes. Okay, I get that. And so I understand why they define co-op as if you play co-op, it means you play with a friend against the computer. What is your take on that? Do you agree with that?
It's a little more strict than that because comp stomping is the term that they use for those real-time strategy games if they're playing StarCraft or whatever, and that's like we're on the same team and we're going up against the computer, right?
Right.
But there has to be from what I'm come to understand over the past 3 weeks in research, it is that the expectations of being able to call a game co-op are stricter than that. You have to have certain functionality to be able to work together. Do you share resources? Do you share fog of war vision from the very start? If you're joining up with a player halfway into the game, is that co-op? Some would say no. Forming an alliance with another player when you're in the mid game is not co-op because you can't like work together from the very beginning of what's happening.
Okay.
But if you look up co-op games on Steam or wherever you get your games, often the results that you get take the term much broader than what players tend to use that term for.
Yeah, I mean, personally, when I go visit my family or friends, I like to have a lot of local co-op games because, they may not have a computer. I haven't built them a computer yet, and we play off one computer, and I want all of us to play in the same room And so when I look up co-op, I basically have to look up local co-op, and local co-op for the most part is pretty accurate. It's basically you're playing with a player either against or with, and that's good enough for me for local co-op. And I know you're talking about co-op in general. Like if you play with friends online, if I play with you a truck simulator online, if it's co-op.
My research has been on online co-op, so you are the other side of that equation.
Yeah, but no, I'm interested in online co-op as well. So we talked about Divinity before, and I'm a big fan of Divinity, and you're playing Divinity 2.
Yeah, I think we both pretty much just started, but yeah.
We both just started Divinity 2, but I played the shit out of Divinity 1, and I beat it with, I think, a friend. I played it with like 2 other friends. It's a long game. You haven't played it, which is fine. Cause
Are you not sure if you played it with a human, or are you not sure if that person's still your friend?
I guess both, but no, I definitely played at least with one friend, for sure. I play with other people, but yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah, I beat it. Yeah, because you have to. You're playing it with a friend, and you know that's a long game. Are you gonna stick with that game with the person? Like it's a long game to beat with a friend.
Well, it has drop in, drop out capability. That's the whole thing, right? Like.
So you would play with the other
bounces
character
in
and
the
then
game,
have. Okay, yeah.
You can just take over,
Right.
or like the AI takes over.
Right.
Yeah, and not all games have that, and it's important because you don't want somebody to drop out of your game and then like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'll have to start this whole game over again with someone else.
No, I get it, but I guess my question is and you know, you can stop me if I'm going off topic, but like, if would you play the game by yourself when you have nothing to do, and then you just have your friend jump in later and you're more advanced in the storyline? Is that okay for them?
I mean, I would find that to be kind of rude.
That's what I'm wondering. If I know they could jump in anytime you want, so that's good.
If you really feel like you want to play more than the person you're playing with, and you're getting held back, then you start a second game, right?
Right.
With a different character, and you just
Yeah,
play
that's
that
true.
one, that save file.
Right.
Yeah, but
Okay.
you know, sometimes though it's like good for like if somebody wants to, especially if you're Steam Remote Play Togethering, which also works for Divinity Original Sin and Original Sin 2.
Mm-hmm.
You can stream to another player and they can join your game without owning that game. So it's a
Right.
good way to bring like people who aren't necessarily into 100, 200 hour RPG experiences to let them like play for a little while in your campaign. And so they're like popping in for an episode like they would pop in and watch an episode of Cheers.
Right. Right.
That's a Boston reference also for those of you at home.
So we were talking about, you know, topics, and you said co-op games, and we talked about some other stuff, and then so co-op games versus single player. Co-op games, you were telling me that you liked the co-op games and you were finding to reconnect with friends and stuff because playing with other people feels a lot less lonely than playing single player, which I don't do a lot of single player anymore, to be honest with you. I'm
the opposite. I've been exclusively single player for many years.
Right.
You're actually a big reason why that is when it comes to versus play.
And that's the big reason for what?
For why I don't play online games. It's your fault.
Okay. No. Give me the exact time I pissed you off there, which I've done for so many other people.
I love the game StarCraft.
Right. Oh, you're talking about when I destroy everyone? Yeah, I get it.
As a single player, I love the story of StarCraft 1. I loved the characters. My heart broke, and I think I almost shed a tear when Kerrigan had a dramatic moment in that game.
Right.
And my first experience with LAN gaming and multiplayer RTS, as opposed to like the Command and Conquer campaign or whatever,
Yeah.
was finding out what a Zerg rush was.
Right.
Finding out what happens when a player who knows how to play the game just completely destroys you in 1 minute and 37 seconds, and you're still like watching your first little unit trot out with this cool animation and this little voiceover, and you're like, oh, this game is so neat, look at the little guy move. what the? It's over. It's already over. The game, I lost. How does anyone enjoy this? I played some games, like first-person shooters multiplayer when I was younger, but now cheat hackers are a thing, like everywhere you start a game, cheat hacking is a problem.
Yeah.
Toxic communities are a problem, and these are among many, many problems that online gaming has. But yes, when you find yourself in a situation, maybe because you've moved to another country to take a new job, or maybe because the apocalypse is literally unraveling before your eyes.
Yeah.
It's a way to get back in touch. I mean, I haven't. This isn't a co-op game we're doing.
Wait a minute.
Now.
I missed the part, and I may have not been paying attention because I was distracted for a second. But
yeah,
I missed the part that I ruined StarCraft 2 for you, or StarCraft.
Well, you were the other player on the other end doing the Zerg rush.
Oh yeah.
I was playing the game like a patient single player game in versus mode. And I was like, oh, this is so cool. My little guy's trotting out. I got this unit that I'm going to use now. You understood that in the game, you really need to be on the defensive or offensive position right off the bat. You cannot be appreciating the art and the narrative.
So I'm glad you mentioned that because I know we were talking about some other stuff after. And but I do want to say that, first of all, I'm sorry that
is not co-op, but
I'm sorry I Zerg rushed you, but we do have another friend, which I'm going to leave unnamed right now because I don't want to embarrass him. But he was very upset when we'd play a free-for-all, and he was appalled that we would Zerg rush him.
Which is like what you have to do. I mean, it's the way you play the game.
I mean,
I understand that.
You don't have to Zerg rush, but people that want to take their time, like you, it's annoying.
There's a line between griefing other players and that is the strength of picking that particular race, so that's what you do.
Right.
There's a line there.
Right.
And I feel like Zerg rushing, if you're playing with people who have ever played StarCraft or another RTS with another person before, hopefully they would understand. And hopefully that would enhance their gameplay because they would want to build up their defenses earlier because they know they're playing against the Zerg. They gotta take care of that before they move on to the next thing that they're concerned about.
Right.
So for higher level players, that's important. An important part of the game.
Right.
Would you say? Would you say it's by design even?
By design,
the ability to be able to completely destroy somebody in such a short period of time in a multiplayer game. When playing as like a faction that is strong at doing that kind of thing, or is Zerg rushing something that came out of players' behavior, and then you realized, oh, Zerg rushing is a thing?
No, I mean, here's the thing. So to answer your question, they did implement Zerg rushing at the beginning because that's what the race did. It was very quick, and that was the mechanics behind them. Now, whether it was unbalanced or not, I'm sure it was at some point, and maybe still is, or whatever. I haven't played in a long time StarCraft 2, but
the balance wasn't as big of a concern with StarCraft 1 as it was with StarCraft 2 because it was pre-esports.
Right. Well, StarCraft, both of them are esports.
And by the way, none of this has anything to do with co-op. There is a mod out there that lets you play the StarCraft campaign co-op.
Right.
On the side. But
dude, that is very cool, and I would love to do that with you and other friends as well. I mean, that's the thing. That's the thing too, is that I've been playing games with one or two friends. Luckily, certain games that we could talk about later for co-op actually. And I may have to go to the bathroom, so we're gonna have to pause this for a second. But for the StarCraft piece, to answer your question about the Zerg rushing, I think it was intended. The thing is that there's a lot of other games out there that people have abused the mechanics, and I can name a bunch of them. But what are you going to do? There's going to be people that all they do is play the game, figure out a loophole, and destroy other people, right?
All of them, really, but it's worse with some games than others.
Absolutely.
You can definitely read reviews about a game by users, not by critics, but like people reviewing a game that they recently bought, and you can see, okay, this is a bigger problem here than
Right.
you normally get.
Right. Absolutely.
And you know, some games that I would personally consider co-op, maybe an elitist wouldn't agree with me. Some of those do have a versus element to them, so you're playing against the AI, but there's also PvP involved.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like, you can have griefers in your experience that have learned the mechanics of the game. And for games like that, you get two complaints, right? Half the people are saying who don't like the game. Generally, the majority of the people still like the game, but half the
Yeah.
people who don't like the game are saying, "Man, there's no new content. It's lonely at the top. I already figured out how to play the game, and now it's just boring." And then you got the people at the bottom that are like, "Man, I played for like 10 minutes, and I just can't handle this shit." Like,
Right.
immediately somebody killed me from a mile away with a handgun. And sometimes that's Chinese hackers. Sometimes that's just people who are really good at a game and understand that pistol does not work like one in real life. Yes.
Well, I'm actually not sure where we're flying over anymore. I don't even know where we're at, to be honest with you. We're just flying.
Yeah. So, New York's out of the question.
No, it's. I mean, we're flying. You know, we're flying towards New York, right?
Okay, we are. So you are following a set path.
I am.
You don't have to like, yeah.
Well,
You can actually see it on a map, which is nice.
Yeah, the map over here we could
It's not
change.
like purely numerical course settings.
Right, exactly. Oops, did I just mess that up? Okay.
Oh my God! See, we were about to talk about cybersecurity, and then you zoomed into the dashboard.
Yeah. So
I have so many questions.
Well, if someone looks up on the phone or Glenn, probably no one cares, and maybe other people will care. But you can easily look up on your phone and see where we're flying over right now. I'd have to explain to you what this means. But if you look at the map, you kind of this is the horn of what is this? This is not Cape Cod, right?
Is that what that little thing is?
I don't know.
That arm sticking out from the bottom?
I don't know what that is.
Cape Cod?
No, well, I don't think it's Cape Cod because we've been flying for quite a while. I think Cape Cod was way past.
Yeah.
No, this is New York, I think. We're
already in New York territory?
Well,
see, it depends on the orientation of the plane, but that looks like...
Check on your Google map here, because I don't want to...
I'm trying, but I don't know which orientation to set it. Because, like, when you're talking about, like, an arm like that in the water where it is...
Yeah.
It doesn't look like that, but there's Nantasket Beach.
Are you looking on... Because I'm looking on Google Maps right now.
Which is on the Massachusetts Bay.
Why did that just reset?
But we surely would have flown farther than that, so maybe it could be Provincetown, but it doesn't look like that either.
I don't know why my game's doing that. What the heck?
No, you know what it is? I got it.
You got it?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Go ahead.
I got it. I think what we're looking at is... Yes, Long Island. That is Long Island.
That is Long Island.
We are north of the tip of Long Island. We are flying over Middletown or Norwich.
Okay.
Norwich, Connecticut.
Really?
We're in Connecticut, technically, but Long Island's right there.
Okay. Okay, cool.
It's sunny and 76 degrees Fahrenheit.
So this seems about accurate right now where we're flying over.
Not any clouds in the sky, which is what I'm seeing outside my window as well, although I do not live in Connecticut. It is
right. Yeah, the weather might be a little different out there. There's a lot of turbulence, which is super annoying, but I do have this on autopilot, so hopefully it will just take us the rest of the way there.
Do you have force feedback?
Not on my throttle. Not on my joysticks. No, not on the yoke. No.
Is that something that serious simmers would not use because it is more about like game kind of stuff than the actual experience? Like, would someone who really is into flight simulators not want to have like force feedback controllers for turbulence and things like that?
No, I think they would. I think because if it's accurate enough, I think there are actually some very high-end yokes that do that. I actually can't think of one, and you might be right too. That maybe no one actually uses them. I know for driving games, which I have a steering wheel with force feedback, they do, and that's pretty useful if it's super accurate. For flying, no, I'm not sure. I think for flying, unfortunately for flying, you don't really get the sense of the aircraft at all because it's so different. I mean, that's what some of my friends will say. You're not a real. Well, obviously, I'm not a real pilot, but you don't know how to fly because, you don't actually know how it feels when you're flying. But
Sure.
I don't know. I feel like I figured out.
It's probably a lot closer than somebody playing Guitar Hero and thinking they can learn how to play guitar.
Guitar Hero is definitely super inaccurate. Although I looked at Rocksmith, which actually
it's a real guitar, right?
It's real guitar.
Yeah.
But anyway, sorry.
This is the first episode, so you play guitar. Nobody knows this.
I do play guitar, and I'm sure I'll be plugging in my solo album once it gets further done. But I've been kind of focused on Microsoft Flight Simulator now, which I've been excited about, clearly. But I did want to incorporate my music into this somehow, and we will have our future guests. Will have my band. So I have my solo music and then my band, which is different type of music. They'll be on the podcast too, and I'm sure Glenn will jump in as well, and we talk music. But
ladies and gentlemen, we are now flying over Connecticut, and I just want to play you a quick little ditty to enjoy your ride.
that would be a good place to plug in the music. So, but anyway, we were talking about cybersecurity. But actually, why don't you talk to me about the rest of the co-op topic, the co-op game topic?
That is a bigger topic than one episode. What do you mean?
Really? Well, what else? What are the major items? We just talked kind of really superficially about it, but like why you're, not even why you were doing it. I think you just wanted to look for reconnect with people and play it, and then you started talking about like the definition of co-op versus what people perceive it as, and I guess I don't know if I've connected those dots yet.
Yeah, well, those weren't really connected dots, just like interesting elements about like co-op communities and how they see it.
Okay.
How storefronts don't necessarily see it the same way, so you have to do a little bit of work to find out like what the co-op games actually are, because you get a lot of results that aren't what you're looking for.
You're right.
But yeah, I just got really into it, so I started as a research project, breaking everything down by genre, seeing various patterns that emerged when it comes to the type of game experiences that people are offering, the type of things that people are looking for, mods trying to wedge co-op play into single-player games.
Right.
But the general impression that I get is that the co-op community is very much a local co-op kind of community. They want what's called couch co-op.
Right.
Or in your case, very much LAN play. I know you've held LAN parties before. And so
I haven't held a LAN party in a long time. It'll be more of a couch co-op play, but just to that point of the exclusive audience, I feel like it's akin to the tabletop audience, right? There's a very tight-knit groups of tabletop gamers, like playing like board games, right? Is that what you're kind of referring to?
Well, in terms of like the co-op community having their own standards, yeah. You get a little bit of that in the literature of what people are writing about them. You get a sense that they're like, yeah, no, this is partial co-op, and this is full campaign, and this is... They want to make a clear distinction of what is and isn't co-op,
right?
And when it is co-op, how co-op is this? How many players can play? how many. The big one is, does it have drop-in, drop-out capability? But I would say the even bigger one is that couch co-op players don't really care if there's online co-op.
Right.
Generally.
Right.
And that paradigm is now shifting hard in the United States of America because getting together with your friends isn't really viable anymore if you're being responsible. So people
Right.
are now looking for online co-op and couch co-op play.
Right.
And I mentioned Steam's Remote Play Together. It's a Stadia-like experience. There are only like 1,000 or 2,000 games that it supports right now. Not all of them are stellar, but the idea of that is that you can take local co-op games that don't feature online co-op necessarily, and stream the game to another player.
So let me ask you.
Co-op together. So you are faking a LAN connection. You're faking couch co-op. There might be some issues with input delay when you.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Right? Yeah, but you can fake that. Now, in the other direction, co-op people who play online co-op games or who want to play online games are generally much more upset when they can't just play couch co-op.
Right. Right.
So that's the predominant pre-COVID feeling about co-op games, is that they should be offline experiences first and foremost.
Right. That's a good point, because what I wanted to do with my like siblings was, LA Noire. You played LA Noire, right?
I haven't played it, but I've always wanted to. I know what it is. Yeah.
So LA Noire would be a really great game to play with others that don't necessarily need to do any inputs or actually own the game, or they just need to like be there to help you solve the cases, because you read people's expressions and stuff. So it doesn't really it just involves one person controlling the character.
No, but that's an interesting point, because people will say that's not co-op, but some games are really great.
Right.
For sitting, like LucasArts point and click adventure games are another one where like you want to solve those puzzles together.
Right.
But that is a single player game.
Exactly.
And you can use Remote Play Together to stream a couple of those, like maybe Grim Fandango or something like that.
Right.
And that's why they're supported. They're supported because they know people want to solve those puzzles together, even though only one person is at the controls.
Right. Right. Exactly.
It's not much different than what we're doing here, except there's more problem solving involved.
Right. 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 Exactly. So like even play the adventure games, which I play some adventure games with some friends, like Tex Murphy and stuff like that, where it's like, which it's not a co-op game, but we're both playing it to solve the puzzles together, which works pretty well. So can I, with Steam Stream, play with a sibling across, remote play? They just need a Steam account, and then they can watch my screen real time, like we're doing now, I guess, and just watch, play the game with me, communicate back and forth. I mean, what is the advantage of Steam Remote Play? I mean, I guess to control.
They can play if it's a co-op game, you can both play.
You could both play it, right?
But it depends entirely on the game. Some you're going to get split screen, because the couch co-op experience for that game would normally be split screen.
Right.
So if it's a game that has LAN support, then maybe it behaves like, now I haven't tested this out myself, but this is my understanding. Then it behaves like if you were playing a LAN game. That person has their screen, you have your own screen, you're playing the game together. I am assuming, from what I've read, that's how that works.
Right.
Some games, are natively same screen co-op games, so that's going to be no different. One screen, both players moving on it.
Right.
Others not so much.
All right.
So that the advantage, and you have siblings that are in the United States of America, so possibly, like if we're talking Boston to New York or something like that, you're not going to get too many problems. But it depends on their internet connection more than anything, right? The host doesn't have to worry about it. The host is just allowing Steam to capture their data and stream it out to someone else. The host is not hosting a game through like they would a multiplayer server or anything like that. But the other player, the player who is streaming the content in, they can have input delay issues, perhaps.
So
At least, like what I've seen of Stadia, that's a major problem. It sounds to me like Steam, and that's subscription based, so that's pretty inexcusable.
yeah.
But when it comes to Steam Remote Play Together, it sounds like it works better. But it really depends on the game. Like if you're playing a turn-based game, you're not going to run into that too much. If you're playing Mortal Kombat,
right.
I can't guarantee a good experience from something like that. People care about split-second decisions in a game.
Right.
Let me put it this way. The way people talk about Steam Remote Play sounds like it has fewer issues than online co-op games.
Really?
Maybe it's just that I'm looking at the minority opinion of online co-op games because that's where I'm trying to understand what doesn't work about them. But a lot of people have disconnect issues. A lot of people have desync issues.
Right.
At certain games, if you're seeing something different than the other player's seeing, like you can't play that game co-op very well together. So yeah, servers. If servers aren't supported and they don't allow you to host your own private servers, then in a slightly older game, maybe you can't play online anymore with friends because the game's just not supported anymore. They shut it down. Whereas something like Steam Remote Play, it's only one copy of the game. There's no server involved, really.
But like, give me an example of a Steam Remote Play game that you played that works well.
I haven't. That's why this is such a difficult thing to talk about. I've just been reading about these
Because
things.
it would only work for games that have local co-op component added, like Divinity, right?
I'm thinking yes, that's correct.
Okay.
Based on page, this is just like the flight simulator culture. This is a whole new world to me.
Right.
But it's a whole new world to a lot of people because this only launched late last year.
Right.
So people that I've been talking about this with over the past few weeks, they've been like, I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, I saw.
You can basically do Stadia just through Steam.
Yeah.
Something like that. People, it's too good to be true, right? So everyone's got like, no.
Well, Stadia was too good to be true, and it turned out to be too good to be true anyway. So.
Which is why I remain skeptical about Steam as
Skeptical.
well.
Yeah.
About Steam as well. Like, yeah, without trying it, I don't know. But I'm that kind of person too. When it comes to technology, and particularly new technology, I'm always like, it's probably not ready yet. I don't think everyone's being honest about how good of an experience they're having with that, because they're excited about the new technology, the new thing, how it works relatively well. Where I'm more like, let's wait until it gets there, and then I'll start messing with that.
So, yeah, I mean, for now I'm sticking to like basic. If I want to show someone something, I just go on Discord stream and I just do that. And if I want to play with someone, they have to have the game, basically.
And it would have to support online co-op. Many of them don't.
Right, but I mean, Steam Remote Play is not going to fix that piece. I mean, if it has to have co-op. If it doesn't have co-op. You can't play with other people.
Well, the game has to have local co-op, I believe, but you can't play a local Cuphead. Take Cuphead, for example, right?
Right, you can't play local co-op, like you're saying. Yeah, I get what you're saying. So
if your brother's in New York, you can't invite him to, and even if he owns Cuphead on Steam, you can't invite your brother to play co-op Cuphead in another state.
Right.
But through Steam's Remote Play Together, it simulates couch co-op. So
yeah,
you now can do that. Of late last year.
Yeah. Have you seen? I don't even know what we're flying over right now. You said that this was Long Island.
Well, that little go look at the map. Start with the map. So, I'm you are still like over Long Island. Well, you're over Connecticut, I believe, still, unless we've passed into New York.
Okay.
But previously, we were in Connecticut, and below to the south of Connecticut is the arm of Long Island. So
Okay, well that's very good for the audience to know because I didn't know that, and also I feel like this plane is super slow if it's just taken this long to get here. But okay.
This is your pilot speaking. If you could look out your window and let me know approximately where in the world we are.
Yeah, that's.
Just let your hostess know, and she'll come report that back to me.
That's pretty much going to be every flight of this podcast.
The instruments, it turns out, are just stickers. So I don't know what anything is doing right now.
Listen, half of these things don't work right now, so.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, this game has a lot of bugs, but.
This is the bug. This is the bug problem. Like some of your dials don't work.
Dude, I'm telling you, if I try to switch the flight path right now and I try to delete something, I'm like, oh, let's go this way. It's just it's not going to work. Like, yeah, it doesn't work very well. But I'm just gonna. It's apparently taking us to New York, so I'm just gonna let this keep
Welcome
going.
to Microsoft Flight Simulator in early access.
So did we cover everything you want to talk about co-op? I feel like there was a lot of...
not really. Like I could go on forever, but it depends on what you're interested in.
Well, it's not me. I mean, it is me, but it is not me. But it is me. But it's not me.
We could switch topics, or if you want to talk about co-op more, I certainly learned about every genre and what kind of games people might want to play in that genre. Maybe people who are listening to this, if you don't want to do the research yourself, because it did take me 3 goddamn weeks, and you like a particular genre of game, ask in the comments. You know, what's out there for online co-op. Forget about Steam Remote Play, because I can't confirm if that works or
yeah, I don't even know if we ever got anywhere with people. Yeah, but okay, right.
But if people want to play an online co-op game that's actually built for that in the first place, it may or may not work well. But if the game was reviewed well, I probably know whether it has co-op or not. For online, well, I probably know whether the online co-op games are worth playing or not. Let's put it that way.
So,
based on the kind of research I've done, and I know, you know, is it a full campaign? Is it a side campaign? And how many players can play? You know, like when you're talking about something like not roguelite. So when you're talking about Souls-like games, what's that experience like? It's very different.
So I'll ask you about that in a second, because I will tell you the 2 co-op games I'm playing right now with Leah, my girlfriend. But and I would love to incorporate more of you guys. I have a couple of friends that play all sorts of games, and we just don't talk to each other as much. But
I have a broader view of it too. Like I would call MMO games co-op if they have PvE servers.
Right.
But I don't always know for sure whether they do or they don't have those servers. So I actually looked at all of those. But yeah,
so,
if you can, those games are built for social play, in a party, questing together, that kind of stuff.
Right. So first of all, because
I know you play Guild Wars.
I play Guild Wars, and I love Guild Wars, and you should definitely play Guild Wars. But what is, in your opinion, the most fun co-op game? Because there's a list of top 10 co-op games. One of them is...
That's the question. That's the questions you can't ask me, because I have not played these games.
Oh,
I have
okay.
I have a research map. I can tell you what other people think.
Well, what do other people... Just give me the top co-op game. What do other people think about the top co-op game? I'm just curious. What is the top co-op game that you found out?
Portal 2. Everyone's played that. Everyone's played that by now. But if you're talking about games, see, unfortunately, the way that I ordered this, although I do have information that's co-op specific and quality related to that.
Yeah.
My ordering of them, my hierarchy that I've kept for organizational purposes has been how well reviewed is it independent of the co-op experience.
Right.
Right. So but I at least know what the co-op experience is like.
Right.
Based on that, based on what is like the best reviewed games that offer co-op, Portal 2 takes the cake, no pun intended, and Divinity Original Sin 2, which we have been talking about a little bit,
Yeah,
is in that number 2 spot.
absolutely. Have you ever played Payday 2?
I have not. I've always been interested in that game.
I would love to play with you and Leah. I think it'd be hilarious. But I think that game has turned into one of those games where I'm too old to understand what is going on anymore, because at first when the game came out, I was like, oh, this is a typical bank heist, whatever, typical different scenarios for robbing whatever places. And then it's turned into this weird 5 million SWAT team members just keep coming at you, and it just turns into a shooter. And I'm like, what is the point of all? Yeah, it's ridiculous. And then all these players like, oh, we know how to do this, and I'm like, what is the point of?
But you can still have the classic experience if you want to, right?
I'm telling you, yes, it's hard to find, and the game's interface is super clunky. It's like, how can I find a game mode that is not like, you know, like I played old school Counter-Strike, but all the kids play surfing Counter-Strike. Yeah, all the dumb shit that I'm just like...
Surfing Counter-Strike? What's that, wall clip on for everybody?
Well, no, they're like surfing around... They're just like surfing around tunnels, and then...
What do you mean surfing? Is it a speed hack, or are people literally...
No, it's like literally a map where people surf on these like... what do you call it when you're skateboarding on these half pipes? It's like these half pipes, and they're just surfing around.
Oh.
And it's a popular mod, and I'm like, I'm not sure what's going on.
So it's a mod of a mod.
Yeah, that's the thing, is the mods really show where gamers are, younger gamers are at these days, because I mean, I guess we've done the same thing. It's like some mods like VR, Pavlov VR, which is like a VR Counter-Strike game. One of the mods is like a prison escape, where some people are guards and some people are prisoners. Yet the mechanics are so convoluted and complicated, and everyone's just kind of like talking and running around. I'm like, what is happening right now?
See, this is what I'm talking about. I can specifically talk about prison break co-op games, or prison-related co-op games.
Really? Like which
that
one?
has come up. Well, let's not veer too far off topic. We're talking about Payday 2 right now.
Well,
right?
I'm interested in Payday 2 because I don't understand half the game anymore. But yeah, I just don't get it.
My understanding is that it's become a better. There's a controversy about the company itself, right? Because the game used to promise that all DLC would be free.
Mm-hmm.
And then they charged for DLC, and everyone got upset. Why did they do that? Because they were acquired by Starbreeze Studios.
Right.
Starbreeze Studios decided we're going to start charging for DLC, but they knew players weren't going to like that, so this is what they said. They said if you upgrade to Ultimate Payday 2, you will get all of the future DLC for free. Otherwise, we're going to be rolling out paid DLC. That's just the way it is. What did they do then? They charged people who bought the Ultimate Edition for DLC.
Right.
And then the company was about to go bankrupt, and they started doing some insider trading.
Really?
And the owners sold 80% of their stock in the company, and the police came to the game studio, raided the video game studio, took them into custody. It's just this insane story because they pulled off a literal heist. They are known for as the heist game company, and they were literally committing a crime.
So, but insider trading is for them to make money off their own stock. So they got accused of that.
Yes,
you're saying.
They dumped their stock because they knew they were about to basically dump the game in a serious way.
But the game is super popular still today.
I imagine so.
And they added VR support. I mean, it's not great VR support. I mean, it's just the game has been. They've been successful, luckily, because they have fans where they just kind of took this game into ridiculous directions, which is why I can't really play it or understand what. Because when it first came out, you're right. When it first came out, it was like typical situations, which I can understand. Now it's like literally like 12-year-olds playing it.
But you must.
I mean, I'm sorry, but that's what it is.
When you're joining a server, surely you must have the option to play on like a server that's not mods activated.
It's very few and far between. It's like I
They're just
said,
hard to find.
it's hard to find. It's hard
Because my
to.
thinking is the party is only up to 4 players, right?
Yeah,
Or is
but
that-
it is up to 4 players. But when you go look, when you try to create a game yourself, if there's a game already exist, I don't. It's weird how they did it. You have to look at the map, and I can't explain it very well. But it's very hard to filter through and even join a normal game or host one. And I've done it. I've hosted a normal one.
I've heard
and-
that about other games as well.
Yeah, I've hosted a normal one, which was like we went to this car dealership. I actually was playing with Leah, and we played. 2 other people jumped in, so I must have had it on public. And they're like,
That's a problem. That's a problem for a lot of online co-op.
They just jump in.
Jump in.
yeah,
You might get fucking hackers
I know.
in your party, and they might totally screw up your game.
Oh, I know. Well, in this game, it was like,
You might get banned because you'll be treated like the hacker.
right. Well, this game,
that can happen.
they were
Not
like, what?
necessarily in Payday 2, but it's a thing.
Well, I haven't played Payday enough to just really care about it. I can tell you other games right now about the hackers, but which I do want to talk to you about Rockstar. But with Payday 2, we were in this game, and they were just like, "What's your detection rate or whatever?" And well, what's your DET? Which we have. I was like, "Dude, I have no fucking clue what you're talking about." And it was basically like, "Oh, you're, huh?"
They got lingo that you don't understand.
Oh, dude. I mean, these are like 15-year-olds or whatever telling me like, what is it, what, blah blah blah, and I'm like, what? And I'm just trying to play this game with my girlfriend who like has less of an idea how to play this, and like, we had no stealth, and then they're just like, oh, just grab the keys to the car and blah blah blah, and this game does not tell you anything, which is fine. I like those games where it just kind of lets you roam, and the guys just took off, and it was like one of those games that if you don't really get in the community and understand what the hell's going on anymore. I don't know. It was weird.
Well, the other thing is,
it was hilarious, actually.
Your probability of encountering toxic community in a game like that, well, because you know what, it's a $10 game, but when Payday 2 for a while was a free Steam giveaway, I think.
Well, yeah, it was.
And more. When it goes on sale now, it goes on sale for the price of a can of Pepsi.
Well, I got it for $1 for Leah.
That's exactly right.
$1.
It's
$1.
So, you know, the barrier of entry is so open that the more close to free a game can be, the more it gets flooded with people who don't even care if they get it banned or whatever. Like, they didn't even pay anything to play this game.
Right.
Oh no, I lost $1.
No, that's true. A lot of people have the game, and a lot of people play it, and that's the only game they play. And we're fortunate. I'm fortunate. I have a lot of games, and I have a lot of gaming gear, and I have too many games to pay attention to focus on a game like Payday.
But that thing about the Starbreeze Studios acquiring it and former promises being broken, that's a bit of a pattern now, because it just happened with Prison Architect. Which was bought by Paradox.
That's a great game. I like Paradox, though. Have you ever played Crusader Kings 2?
I do, too. And no, I have not played Crusader Kings 2.
I'm looking for people to try to teach me how to like learn about feudalism and not marry a my 3-year-old niece.
Your niece? Yeah.
They're just like, this is an appropriate person to get married to right now.
Yeah, well, when it comes to Paradox games, the general understanding is that they have an insanely high barrier of entry.
Right.
So you
All
really
of them
do need to spend an incredible amount of time.
Time on Wikipedia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Europa Universalis 4 is.
I have that one too. Yep. Yeah.
What's the World War II one? I got it in my documents.
Oh, Iron.
Hearts of Iron 4.
Hearts of Iron. I think. Yeah. Which.
It's Hearts of Iron 4.
Yeah, that and it seems really good, but of course I barely can understand Crusader Kings 2. Never mind all the other games that I have that are similar to that. But I was gonna say, I mean, the Hearts of Iron reminds me of Panzer General back in the old days, and I don't know if you remember Panzer General.
I didn't play it, but
I didn't play it either,
realistic war simulator kind of games were not my thing.
Right. Right. Um, yeah, I mean, do you play Civ 6?
I have opinions on Civ.
Okay. Okay, go ahead. We're getting closer to New York, so if there's any other topics we want to talk about, because I feel like this is a good first episode, and
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully, I think you did way better job of talking and me um, saying a lot, but good job to you. But for Civ 6, what is your opinion on Civ? Unless you want to talk about another topic right now.
No, I mean, I would. My basic feeling of Civ 6 is that if you played Civ 4 or Civ 3 back in the day,
Mm-hmm.
you probably thought Civ 5 was a piece of trash. You may not agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people think Civ 5 was the pinnacle.
A lot of people do really get into Civ 5, as particularly younger players who
Yeah.
don't have 3 and 4 to compare it to, right?
Right.
So I feel like the pattern that I usually see with that, and the one that I identify with myself, is as a fan of Civ 4, I did not like 5 at all.
Mm-hmm.
But I think 6 is an improved version on what they were trying to achieve with that game. So
Okay.
I like Civ 6 because of that. I feel like they were being experimental, and now they tightened it up. They understand what they were trying to do and how to do it right, and they made a good game.
Right.
But fans of Civ 5, ooh man, they are not happy about Civ 6, right? What's your feeling?
Well, so I was gonna say I haven't played. I want to play more Civ 6 because I don't know. I have mixed feelings about Civ in general because partially because I feel like I really do suck at it. I played with a friend of mine a long time ago, and they were so good at Civ 5, and they managed the units and the economy so well. And then I was like, well, maybe Civ 6, I can understand it better, and I'll play it. And I mean, it's an easy game to learn, hard to master. I don't know. I mean,
Well, I was playing single player, so this wasn't.
I was
Really
playing too. Well, right.
And then
And
the co-op, the multiplayer was shit back in the Civ 4 days.
right. I played Civ 5 multiplayer, and that was fun because it was fun to see friends turn against each other and then nuke half the continent.
Yeah.
But I haven't gotten to that part in Civ 6, and I haven't really played with anyone, and no one else has played it. So,
where do you own it? You own it on Steam?
I own it on, I think, on Steam.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not because I would rather own it on Steam. That's not a knock against Steam. I wish I owned it on Steam.
Mm-hmm.
I would totally jump in with a game of that. Maybe I would still do it if it was like deep discounted or something like that. But I got it. Surprisingly, the entire base game Civ 6 is a free giveaway from the Epic Store. So,
Right, which I saw that after,
right?
and I got pissed. Yeah.
Yeah. So it splits the community, you know. So I'm now.
Well, what do you mean
I've
it
now
splits the
got-
community? Can I play with you?
I cannot say one way or the other. It always depends on the individual game. There are some games, and it may even be most games. I don't know. I'm not an authority on that particular issue, but I know that it is a problem that in certain situations, if not most situations, somewhere along the spectrum, no.
Right.
Epic players cannot play with Steam players in some, several, many, most games, whatever it is along that spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about Civ 6 specifically. I'm sure people out there figure out some way, one way or the other, to make it happen. But what you really need for something like that to happen is the storefronts themselves entering into a relationship and saying, you know what, if you buy your game here, you can add it to your library there.
Right.
And good old games.
That's not going to happen. I mean,
GOG
Epic is cutthroat
actually-
with. Yeah, go
No,
ahead.
it did. It did happen with GOG. and
with
Epic.
GOG and Epic. Yeah, but Epic is leveraging GOG as a partner to fight Steam. I mean, Valve is the big, you know, they're trying to
And
defeat.
there's some crossplay between GOG and Steam, but it's not supported to the extent that it is with Epic. With Epic, I think it's a major deal that they recently made, so that like you can have your games on both libraries across those two storefronts.
Right. Right. Yeah, I have a couple game. I mean, Epic has been giving away a lot of games, and I've created some other accounts for my brother and sister, and get some games on there. And I got Remnant, which I played kind of a little bit. What do you think about Remnant, by the way?
I haven't started it up yet. I also claimed it for free.
Yeah.
But no, what happened was I did all this research, right? And then I didn't play anything because even though that was the goal to begin with, find something interesting to play with friends.
Right.
I ended up doing so much research because that's the kind of person I am that, man, I want to play them all. but yeah, I've been taking a bird's eye view with things rather than starting up that very generous Epic Store giveaway of Remnant, which is a relatively new game.
Mm-hmm.
It's fairly well reviewed, you know.
It's okay. Maybe you have to. It's kind of Dark Souls like, as you I think you said before. You know that.
But but for co-op play, it's cut above all of the rest.
It is. It's not bad for co-op play, but I have specific games that I enjoy more with certain people. And for example, I've been playing Division 2 more. Have you played Division?
No, I hear it's just a hot mess of ass.
It's a hot mess of monotonous, same old, and
I will say that when looking at Division, I am certainly tempted to play that game. But then reading about Division, it's like, okay, I really cannot do that.
Have you played?
I cannot. DayZ is similar. Like you invited me to play DayZ. Like I'm like, oh, I've always been interested in that, and then I remember why I didn't buy it when I was interested in it because I start reading about it, and then I'm like, okay, no, you're not making my documents. No games to play, but so games like Dark Souls 3 or Sekiro, which is actually co-op with a mod now, or Neo, or Code Vein, or a kind of not great game called Ashen by Annapurna. But those are all Souls-like, right?
Yeah.
Souls-likes that are essentially people playing their own single-player game, and they all function the same way. You buy like a summoning stone in all of these games. You buy like a summoning stone,
right? And
you summon your friend in like ethereal ghost form. I don't know why that is. Maybe it's a lore reason, but your ethereal ghost form friends can help you through a boss. But like they're designed around the idea, kind of like Journey, that you want strangers to come into your game and play with you. That's what they've designed around. Like strangers just bouncing in to help you get by a difficult boss or something.
Yeah, that's kind of co-op-y, but not really.
No, because what people want to do when they want to play co-op is they want to play through the entire campaign with their friends, which technically you can like 98% do with all of these games.
Mm-hmm.
But it varies in how much of a hassle it is to do that, because that's not the play. Oh, I can see the lights on the runway.
Yeah.
We're coming towards the end of our journey.
We're coming towards the end of our journey. I was going to say, I mean, we're definitely going to do more episodes because I don't think we've covered 1% of what we were trying to talk about before.
Remnant.
Well, I definitely don't want to talk about. I don't want to talk about Remnant at all. But
it doesn't force you to play through your own single-player game twice in order for you and your friend to be at the same level and experience the same stuff.
Oh, really?
That's what Souls games are like, generally. Remnant, I believe, is different.
Well, let me ask you a question. First of all, have you gotten Red Dead?
No,
Red Dead GT5?
No, not yet.
not yet.
Okay.
I love Rockstar, but I haven't gotten Red Dead yet, and
Okay.
I don't know about the you play the online experience of that.
I did.
That's kind of, I don't know. It creeps me out a little bit what they've been doing with business wise.
Oh, I know.
I
totally. Yeah, it takes forever to get anything in the game, and you need to just basically give them money. But
they promised it would be like not gameplay affecting, right? It was going to be cosmetics only.
Oh, it's completely gameplay. I know, it's completely gameplay affecting.
Yeah.
But what should we call this podcast?
Episode?
Well, this episode I think is going to be co-op games and what? Well, you tell me. What is the topic? It was co-op games.
We apologize to those listening at home that we don't know the answer to that question yet. This is very experimental. I don't think this should be the co-op games in flight like thing necessarily. You have a lot of different interests and friends.
I'm just saying. Listen, it's a podcast with a top kit.
Like the smallest chip off of what we could potentially talk about co-op. So if you are listening and you are interested in the topic of co-op gaming, yeah, you this is not the co-op episode. You're going to get that from time to time, for sure.
All right. So do we not know the title yet? Is that the thing?
It's tough because like we're just doing this, you know. We're doing like as we go further, we'll be able to, I think, parse it out a little bit better about what topics of the day would be and things like that.
Yeah. No, but I think this is a good start.
This is the introduction episode, which
this is
to be about co-op games more often than not.
No, that's fine. But I can see that you're definitely not gonna. I don't know why the lights are in the water, so that might be a bug. Who knows? Anyway.
No, that's how it works, right?
This is LaGuardia.
No, dude, that's how it would have to work. They're not going to build land just to put lights like 2 feet underwater.
Sure. Yeah,
that's got to be real.
I don't know.
Either that or we got a real flooding problem in New York right now.
We've got some. There's
coastal flooding situation here.
Listen, there's. I don't know why the game is going nuts right now, but I think we'll land okay.
You're landing.
I mean, it's either a lot of wind. Come on, buddy.
There you go.
Well, let me just.
First episode, and we are still alive.
Barely. There we go. Jesus, that's a nice bounce off the runway.
I can feel that.
Yeah, I don't know if I hope people are gonna judge me for how bad I land, but I swear, unless the wind is that bad where it's just jumbling the plane right now.
It's probably you.
It probably is me. I mean, I don't know what the next episode is gonna be. I would love to tour around New York. We should get Chris on this.
We'll jump into a different game where you can walk around New York.
Yeah, I think you can walk. In X-Plane 11, you can actually walk around anywhere. I don't know about this game. I don't know if you can, but I do. We'll have to figure out what the title of this episode is, and at least we can change it later. But we're gonna have to listen back. I'll send you a private link here. But anyway, that's the logistics of this. But Glenn, is there anything else you want to say?
Too much. I want to say. I haven't talked to you in a long time, and we have so many things.
That's true. All right. Well,
we would talk about, but yeah. So I hope it wasn't too erratic. The top bouncing from topic to topic and trying to hone in on some particular theme here, but.
Well, if we title this for the most part, and someone has no interest in co-op games at all, and we're going to be talking about other stuff with Glenn and others on different topics, and you don't have to tune in. But if you want to see how this
we'll try to make it clear for people, sure.
Yeah. There's some people waiting for us there, maybe. I don't know.
Probably the police, dude. He stole his plane. We ran it around.
Is this guy literally waiting for us? Maybe he is. Who knows?
Dude, this isn't safe. You think they get that close?
Oh, yeah. They get really close here. All right, that was do you think that was an hour or more? That was definitely more than an hour.
That was more than an hour. That was like 2 hours.
Oh, whatever. It's the first episode. It's fine for me. We'll definitely have more interesting situations and topics to talk. And like Glenn said, yeah, we definitely didn't cover. We scratched the surface, but we'll definitely do this again. But I think that's a wrap for this episode.
Chip the paint off of the content that could possibly be explored here.
All right, Glenn.
Well,
right.
hey, that was my first flight simulator experience.
There you go. There you go. Welcome.
It was mostly just staring at the horizon.
I'm sure that was a lot of fun for you. Welcome to New York.
It was, it was what I expected, I would say. But the bugginess that I wasn't necessarily expecting.
What bugginess?
Your feeling that the game launched not quite there yet.
Oh, that's not a shock. That's definitely some bugs in there.
Certainly not a shock for games in general, but knowing how popular Flight Simulator is, so you would think they wouldn't want to disappoint people, so they would try to take a little bit more time on polish. But maybe it is just like such a big thing that it's hard to.
That's what it is. It was such a huge game, and they've been working on it for so many years that I knew that they were just going to release it, and they're going to be like, they had to release it, yeah. But that's okay. Well, everyone stay tuned for the next episode. That was your first podcast of whatever this is going to be called, while flying. Yeah. So people talking while flying. So you'll see Glenn again.
That's what it's going to be.
Yeah,
exactly. Whatever it's called, it's going to be people talking more.
That's the concept. So you don't have to worry about the title. Yeah.
All right. Thanks for having me, man.